Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday, April 18th. Thanks for joining us today as we close out this week before Good Friday. Won't be in tomorrow. We're closing the office in celebration of Good Friday. And so before we get started, I wish you all a happy Easter and then hope you have a time with friends and family over the weekend. So, hey, I'm glad you joined me. Hold tight. Again, hey, I want to remind you that we have that free report on taxes and retirement, different strategies that are very important, and you can get yours easily just by texting the word tax to 863-285-3815. That's right. All you have to do is text the word tax. That easy. 863-285-3815. Hold tight. We'll be right back.
Good morning. I'm glad you're here. It's 8:38:22 now before 9. Time to look in on your money and see what's going on Wall Street this morning. Looks like we're starting out at the very least with another relatively quiet day like we had yesterday, assuming nothing blows up in Washington. Let's go downtown, find out what's happening from the offices of Statler Financial Services, where Phillip Statler's standing by. The was based on all the Mueller report excitement, Philip. I don't know if it's going to move the market, but it's certainly putting everybody on hold, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is, and it's going to be interesting to see how it breaks out. I'm sure they'll have a live press conference to reveal all that's there. So, and that's going to probably eat up the news over the weekend, and it's I forget how many pages it is, 400 or something pages, and I bet within an hour we'll have people have it digested. Now I don't know about you, but I can't read 400 pages in an hour, but they'll know exactly what it says in an hour.
You don't have a staff of 300 people standing by to read one page at a time. That's and they're actually going to do that. I couldn't help but giggle a little bit. Okay, Barr's going to put the thing out and have a press conference at 9:30, and all the Congress people are having a hissy fit because he gets to the microphone before they do, and that to them is one step removed from a death penalty offense in Washington, getting to the microphone first, right?
Well, yeah, they want to be out there, presenting their case first, and I think those that have been in there, they're the ones that should present the case first. I mean, they're the ones that have dived through and analyzed everything. So,
actually, yeah, makes sense to me too. But then again, we're talking politicians in Washington, and they don't have to make sense. We don't elect them for that, do we? Or do we?
You would think we do, but evidently we don't.
Evidently not. The serious stuff that actually should move the market is also happening today. Start out with a couple of government data dumps to start the day out. And basically, from a macro standpoint, I got nothing but good news. Retail sales was well over expectations last month. March retail sales up 1.6%. They didn't revise prior month figures downward, and the government says every category except hobby stores was up last month. That's got to put a little bit of calm on our concerns about a retail recession, doesn't it?
Well, it definitely does seem to be helping the futures anyway. After earlier this morning, when some European news came out about 6 something this morning, we had a data dump from Europe, and so Germany's manufacturing was not good news. They're still in a contraction mode over there, and France, their manufacturing hit a 4-year low. So when that hit our news cycle, we saw a big decline, not a big, but a drop in our futures. Now they've come back based on some of the U.S. numbers coming out.
It's interesting to watch the flow of information. I look at my charts overnight for the futures in the United States, and I can almost always tell when something bad happened in China, Asia in general, or over in Europe by when the knee changes in the futures curves. We do watch those other markets because, well, it is a world economy, right?
Well, it is, and so you talked about retail sales, and that was definitely good news. And I think our markets are really liking that. The other news that came out, Dave, was first-time claims. And again, 2 months in a row now, we've been under 200,000. It came in at 192,000. They were expecting 205. So good news on the unemployment front also. One of the things I did see, though, that gives a little concern is that the number of people looking for jobs, those people that are that are coming back into the workforce or are leaving the workforce, that bucket of people has declined. So there's less people looking for work.
And the interpretation of that can swing anywhere in about 8 different directions. So that's going to be a report that's going to be worth getting some more flesh on those bones, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Is it people that are because that could be several things, right? People are finally hitting retirement age. They're giving up on trying to find a job. They're just going to go collect their Social Security. And it could be that people have started their own little business, so they're taking themselves out of the job market. So there's lots of different things that could cause that.
That's kind of why I said, it could go at 8 different directions. Yeah, the baby boomers that, that bulge in the snake they talked about for so many years, we're now getting to the retirement ages where there's going to be more of us retiring than there are going to be people entering the force on a month-by-month basis and on a smoothed average. But 1 month when you see a bump go downward, you start wondering what exactly the cause is. It'll be interesting to see whether they put some substantial flesh on the bones of that number in days to come.
Yeah, it will be. It's always nice to kind of get some more detail around some of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
You talked about retail, and so let's talk about a couple retail stocks that have come out. Neither of them are doing real well either, though. We had Skechers come out with a big miss. They missed by a couple cents a share on earnings per share. They missed on revenue, and they're down significantly from where they were a year ago. And so they're getting beat up pretty bad this morning. They're down a little over 13% pre-market today.
Which would put them right toward the top of my loser list this morning. My tracker doesn't track them, but 13% is precipitous. You also mentioned one of the big chains that all of us know well, and they're not doing well either, are they?
No, Pier 1. They had a bigger than expected loss. The other thing is, one of the key metrics we look at is revenue per store, and that declined 13.7% when you looked at same store sales. Not good things happening there. Now, obviously, Pier 1 is not a big stock price. I mean, it's one of those stocks that's got down to less than $1 a share. As a matter of fact, if you look at the 52-week range, it ranges from 28 cents a share to $3.70 a share. Down right now 13.2% to 56 cents a share.
Even in the penny stock range they're in, that kind of smarts down the line.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Another one that I'm looking at that I found kind of interesting because they're breaking some of the rules. Snap-on Tools, premium price tools for professionals. Their revenue missed, even though their earnings per share beat. I don't know whether you had a chance to find the exact numbers on that. I didn't, but that paints a picture for a sell-off, but they're actually up by over 4.5%. So maybe the investors are saying discounting their product and taking a hit on revenue to sell more makes some sense.
It could be. That's one of the reports I did not see Snap-on anywhere on my tip sheets this morning. So you're ahead of me on that one.
We were both looking, and neither one of us could find the specifics. But when I see revenue miss and earnings per share beat, I just assume they're going to sell it off based upon the example the financials they've given us so far.
Yeah, every now and then you get something that able to counteract some of that. You talked about financials. We had American Express come out this morning. They beat by 2 cents a share on earnings per share. Revenue, though, was below expectations. They did kind of reiterate, though, what their guidance was for 2019. No real changes there. They're trading down almost 1% this morning before the market gets open and going. The other
one?
I'm sorry.
I was going to say this kind of once again confirms the financial picture, and I think we can almost say there's a trend on the financials that they're just not making the revenue, but they are turning it into profit.
Yeah, that's true. And now E-Trade Financial, which is a brokerage firm, they've been pushing hard to get the independent advisor and trying to get the do-it-yourselfer financial person, investor doing their stuff. And so they beat by well over 10 cents a share. Their revenue was up a little bit, And one of their metrics is how many new accounts did they open. They opened up 135,000 new accounts during the quarter, and that's a 41% jump from the same time last year. So some good things happening. They're up a little over 2.5% this morning.
Well, that's good news. That's one financial-related firm that's doing well. It looks to me, based upon what happened yesterday in the markets, that a lot of folks were singing out of the same hymnal that you were, that, beating on EPS, you also have to look at how much they made last year, because things were pretty flat yesterday. Dow was off by about 3, NASDAQ off by 4, Standard & Poor's off by a little over 6. Not an exciting day, but it was all, well, call it pink ink when you get that small a change, but it's red, but not really all that red. Looks like we might be getting into a trading range up here. 45 minutes before we open, where are we heading this morning based on the information we got?
Hey, before I give you that, Dave, I want everybody to keep an eye out. Pinterest is going public today at $19 a share. Yep, that means they're a $10 billion company. So keep your eyes open on that. I'm sure that will hit the news today as trading starts on Pinterest.
I forgot to mention that. That's right. I saw that.
So the Dow is up 27 points. S&P 500 is up 3.85. NASDAQ's up 7 3/4. Gold is flat, and silver is down just a tad to $14.93 an ounce. Gold's heading back up a little bit off its close yesterday and up from where it was when we talked yesterday to $63.98 a barrel.
Nothing like crude oil going back up, is it? On the world markets, by and large, it looks like the thrill of that good Chinese news from yesterday is worn off. Asian rim markets were all down. Europe seems to be kind of shrugged off the information from those German manufacturing reports. All the European markets midway through their trading day are actually up this morning. Phillip, for solid advice as far as how to turn investments into a solid retirement, how does one find you on the telephone?
Devin, give us a call at 382-0037. Follow us on our website at statlerfinancial.com. Hey, join us by liking our Facebook page at Statler Financial Services. Like our page. We post a lot of good information there. We have our shred event coming up a week from Friday. Things like that you can keep up on. And then join us every weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on News Talk 730.
All righty. It's streaming online at newstalk730am.com. Phillip, I know you're going to take a long Easter weekend, so I'm going to wish you, your family, and everybody at Statler Financial a blessed and a meaningful Easter weekend.
You too, Dave. Hey, this is the last day of trading for the week. The markets are closed tomorrow. Y'all enjoy your weekend, and I will be back with you Tuesday morning.
All righty. Thank you very much, sir. And I'll be here to catch you up as to what's going on across the pond tomorrow morning about the same time. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, as we close out the week, I want to remind you again of our free report on tax strategies for retirement. All you have to do is text the word tax to 863-285-3815. That's text the word tax to 863-285-3815. Hey, I hope you have a great Easter weekend, spending time with friends and family. Until next week, I'll be with you on Tuesday morning. Y'all have a great weekend.